What's up, guys? Okay, today what I want to do is basically give you an introduction to Spline and Webflow. This is actually from a presentation that I did in London recently, and I thought it would be good to record it properly for you guys. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, let's go. So, an introduction to Spline and Webflow. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to go through what is Spline, why is it different, why use 3D in the first place, how do you use Spline, how much does it cost, and some extra resources. Here's the big takeaway. If you are interested in creating 3D stuff, know this, 3D is not hard to create. If you want to create something in 3D, you can do it. You can do it. It's not that hard. I'm going to show you why. Okay, this tool is called Spline. It's free to at least mess around with, and you can actually embed 3D assets on your projects as well for free. It's pretty wild. If you pay, you basically avoid the watermark, the little Spline logo that you'll have in your embeddable file, but you can do a hell of a lot for free, so it's well worth checking out. Now, what's different about this? Basically, it's a web-based editor, like 3D editor. So the idea is that you don't need to download clunky files, and it also means that you can collaborate in real time with other people in the same file. So you can use it a lot like Figma, if you used Figma for web design or anything. They also have an incredible community, loads and loads of files to remix, essentially clone, and there's a Discord channel that's super active. Basically, it's a great place to start learning 3D. It's a lot more accessible than other tools. The other cool thing about Spline is that, so you've got Cinema 4D that was created in 1990, Blender that was created in 1994, and Spline was created in 2021. So if you think about it, the world's changed a lot since 1990 and 1994, okay? We'll be using 3D assets on the web, probably, coming forward. I just can't help but seeing the world becoming a lot more immersive with 3D, and how essentially the internet won't just be something that we'll look at on a screen. I think we'll be having a lot more immersive experiences, from 3D glasses that kind of bring things to life to if you imagine storefronts that might involve 3D as well. So this tool is basically built specifically for the web. You can do a hell of a lot of stuff on the web. So that's why I think it's particularly powerful. Why should you care about anything I've got to say? Totally fair if you don't, but here's a little bit of context. Worked for Dexter Washington from Crafted Studios. Great guy, learned a lot under him. Then I started doing this podcast called Webflow, and basically interviewed some of the best Webflowers, people that use the specific web development tool that I use, and learned a lot from everyone there. Then worked for Edgar Allan doing marketing, and I was working on this product called Slater, which is a no-code. Well, it's basically like a code prompter that will allow you to generate and host code for websites. And then I worked for this studio called Mako Studio with a guy called Arnell Ross, who you might have seen if you're in the Webflow sphere. During this time, played around with Spline, but then I did this thing called the 40-day challenge, where I basically built something every day for 40 days, and it was epic. But I hit a wall when I got this message by a guy called Hal Zaitlin, who's a great guy, but he basically said, look, I don't really know why I would use Spline in my projects. Can you, send me an examples? And I was like, oh no. This is bad news. He says, what kind of client projects are requiring Spline 3D? So I thought it'd be worth just backtracking and understanding why use 3D in the first place in websites. Well, in my opinion, you have better visualization and product display when you use 3D. If we actually look at this website, this is by a woman called Zoe Tang, who is an incredibly talented product designer. But you can see this goes from being, okay, cool, it's a shoe, to wow, we actually can really see the stitching, the details. We can see a really immersive idea of what this product would look and feel like in our hands. And it makes us a lot more inclined, in my opinion, to actually purchase this product, because we can really see how it looks in so many more angles and the shape of the shoe, etc. This is just a micro example of all the different incredible websites that are out there from a lot of different developers, like this one by Upfront, also a really interesting example of a 3D e-commerce experience where you hover over the products and they turn as you hover. There's this one by Andrew E from Radcat Designs. He's insane. He's so good, guys. Definitely, I'll put links in the show notes for this. But wow, he creates some incredible microsites. This is another one by him where you have this kind of scrolling helix strand as you scroll down the website. But you can tell from storytelling to immersive experiences, you have a far better idea of whatever that physical product or service is by virtue of seeing the 3D assets. Interestingly, this means that a lot of the time people stay on the website for longer. So it actually improves SEO. A lot of people think, well, 3D just slows down a website. That's terrible for SEO. Well, I would argue that it's a little bit more nuanced than that. It's actually, if you have a 3D asset that loads quickly, but actually gives the user a very different website feel and experience as a result of the 3D asset being there, then I would argue that they'll actually stay on the website longer, and actually that could improve SEO. Also, there's starting to be a lot more brands that use 3D, but I think it definitely helps increase recognition of the brand. So here's a little demo so that you actually get a bit of a feel for this. When you log into Spline, you will see this page. Now, what you've got is you've got your own files. You can actually generate assets for yourself by typing in prompts, which are pretty incredible. I mean, you type in these words: olive branch, flying wings, scissors, dog, and you actually get a 3D asset that is made off the back of that single prompt. This is only going to get better, which is obviously incredibly exciting. But you can do a lot with this 3D asset, but you can't in the web for like scroll position and stuff. You can't necessarily change the dog's legs to run, etc. So it's a little bit limited right now, but it will get better and better. There's assets that you can get shared for other people that you're collaborating with or clients. And then you've got this, which is the community. This is one of my favorite bits. You can actually clone other people's assets if they're generous enough to allow you to clone them. But this also allows you to learn how these assets are made. So you can just click in. This is one by Axie Morris. He's a beast. He's just incredible. But he made this asset and allows you to clone it. You can remix it. So you can click the button and actually see how this interacts, how this is built. There's also a load of tutorials that they've got on YouTube, but you can also click into them from here. And then you've got a library of different icons that you can also use for projects. These are like individual icons and assets to use. So cool, you're intrigued, I can tell. Let's get into actually creating our own new file. So if we were to click new file, then what we can do is we can get into here. Now we have a rectangle and we have this directional light right now. Now if we delete these, then we've just got a blank canvas, and we can click this plus icon up here and we can do a lot of stuff just off the bat. Let's say we want to create a helix effect, If I click and drag, then you'll see a helix forming. Once you've actually made a shape, if you create some kind of an asset here, then you can click on it, and if you hold Option and drag your mouse around, you'll see all the different angles that your asset has, and you can actually like interact with it a little bit more. Let's say that we wanted to actually change the materials, for example. What we can do is click this plus icon, change this to matte cap, for example. And if we click the icon here, we can see that we've got a vast range of different materials to create an asset. So let's say we wanted to create a kind of metal looking spiral. Awesome. And let's say we actually wanted this spiral to be a little bit thicker. Okay, so what we can do is we can increase the path radius here to create an asset that is a little bit chunkier. That's looking kind of like a spring for a bike or something like that. And let's say we go, let's say we want to give it a little bit more of, it looks a bit shiny to me right now. So let's give it a little bit of a textured effect. So what I'm going to do is click noise, and then I'm going to make the noise layer just tiny kind of rusty looking effect, right? And what I can do is actually change this from normal to overlay. And what you'll see now is a slight effect on this asset. It looks like it's been left out in the rain a little bit more, doesn't it? Which I just love, like little subtle effects like that we can do very, very quickly. So now we've got a few different layers, as you can see here. Now the order of these layers does change things, right? If we put color at the top, then we've just got this kind of, well, we can change it to whatever color we want, but if we want it to be luminescent blue, we can. But you can see that this is a little bit like Photoshop, these layers dragged around, etc., etc. Now, another thing that we can do, which is quite fun, is states. We can actually animate this. So let's say the base state, after clicking this plus icon, we've got base state and state now. So the base state is basically the first state, and then the state is the second state. Let's name this so that we can actually understand this a bit better. So I'm going to name this final state, okay? So we've got base state and final state. Now, we've got the position here, so we can change the position of this asset. If I zoom out, you'll see this a little bit better. Up, down, left, right, and Z is further away or closer to, okay? So let's say the first state is going to be in the middle, and let's say I want it to rotate. Let's say that I want it to rotate on the second state, and I want it to rotate in 10 seconds. So what we've done is we've created an event, we've clicked transition, this is on the helix, and the current we're going to change to base state, and then the final state is that. We're going to change this to ease, and we're going to make this infinite loop, okay? So what we've got is we've got this moving up and down. Wow, that's quite hypnotic. I quite like what I've just created there. You can see that this is actually moving up and down, and it's turning as well. So we've got this. Let's say that we wanted the path radius to change as well. So the final state, the path radius is going to be a lot less. Let's say that we wanted there to be a kind of, I don't know, sharper effect maybe. I think I might have ruined this, but let's see how it goes. So what have I done wrong there? Oh, I've created both of them. So what we've got is we've got base state and final state here. If we look at how these look, you can see that we've created something which spins round, animates, and generally looks rather fine. So you can see very quickly we've created some assets. You can also generate assets inside of here. So you can basically do AI generate. Let's put in bird. In fact, no, let's be a bit more specific. Parrot. And we've got a parrot coming through, which is great fun. Now, you're like, yeah, Jack, this is kind of cool, but like, what's the real point of Spline? Like, why should I care about Spline? Now, what we've done is we've just created something super simple here, and it's not that impressive. But what is really cool, here's our little parrot, by the way. It's actually quite cool. You know, we've just created a 3D parrot by typing in the word parrot. Isn't that mad? Admittedly, it's a little bit... let's just hide our asset so we can see our parrot for a sec. As you can see, it's not that high quality. And you're like, I don't really know if I think this is any good, if this is worth exploring. Well, hold your horses, cowboy. Now, look at this, right? Spline's pretty cool because you can import different assets from other people too. So if we were to go to a cool website called Sketchfab, and we can find 3D assets like this. Let's get some pineapple glasses, shall we? Now, if we want to download this 3D model, we click download, and then what we can do is we can actually get this as, let's get an FBX file. So we've clicked download, and now if we go back to our Spline file, what we can do is we can click import, and we can pick up our glasses. Let's just get the file open, and let's see what we got in there. Source and pineapple FBX. Great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is click that, and I'm going to import this incredible asset here. And you're like, whoa, that's cool. Wait for this. Let's say we've got these pineapple glasses, and now we want to change some of the details. Let's create a mat cap. Let's do that. We've got these. Now what we can do is we can actually click this icon here, and we can go AI style transfer experimental, right? Now, we can then click on one of these, let's say anime, and our glasses will be transformed in a matter of seconds to create a 3D asset you didn't know existed. Isn't that mad? Let's change the position of this, and we're going to create, let's go, I don't really like that actually. Let's get steampunk. Boom. Let's try out fur style. Oh wait, I hadn't finished. Isn't that mad? And then you can export that as an asset to be used as a JPEG. Now, right now, this doesn't do video. I'm sure that will soon happen because that seems like the logical next step. I know Runway is pretty impressive and other things, but I mean, isn't that just mental? My mind is just blown how good that is in such a short space of time. I mean, we've just created something that, a Photoshop artist would have taken maybe a week to do, and we've just done it just in a click. Just mad. So you're like, yeah, this is kind of cool, Jack. How do I use this on a website now? Okay, good question, cowboy. Let's just get rid of that. what we're going to do is we're going to click Scene, and we're going to change this from custom size to responsive. Now, we're going to click Export, Viewer, and then we get this production asset in here, okay? So, remember, whatever the shape is and the style of the camera is here is what you're going to get in your embed, okay? So just remember, however you leave your spline asset here is how it's going to look in your embed, okay? I'm going to have it as a kind of diagonal asset. Let's have a little look at the optimizations that can be made. Total number of polygons, ooh, pretty heavy. We can improve that by reducing the amount of different details we have in this. But you know what? I kind of like my pineapple glasses the way they are. It says reduce the number of polygons. Nah, you're all right, mate. I can delete that though. I can reduce the number of different layers we have if we're not using them. But it's pretty good load speed, 99 out of 100. So what I'm going to do is copy this. In fact, let me just turn off the background color. Let's allow page scroll. Actually, let's keep orbit, etc. Yeah, nice. Let's update that. I'm going to go to overview. And now I'm going to go to Webflow. Okay. Now, you can do this on Framer. You can do this anywhere. Let's go to this one, for example. And let's pretend that this is a completely new project. You can use Webflow 2 projects for free if you're not wanting to pay. And you don't even need to pay for a domain name. You actually get a webflow.io domain, which you can actually use as a staging domain. This can be indexed on Google if you want. It's pretty cool, the amount you can do for free. Some people actually have their portfolios free as well. Okay, so let's just create a new page. Free. Let's just put in test. Sorry, testy. Fine. Okay, simple as this, right? We get a spline scene. We then whack in the code that we've just got. This URL, sorry, that we've just got from our file here. Production, click copy and embed, and there it is. And what's pretty crazy about this is that this can be shared as a link, or you can then put text with this. I mean, I'd recommend doing this a little bit better than I am, but you can do whatever you want with this. OMG pineapple glasses. Test text. And I actually use Timothy Ricks's class naming system. So just in case you're not aware, you'd need to clone a style guide for Webflow, and then you can get going with a project after creating your style guide. I recommend using Lumos. It's great. There's another one called Client First, which is also great. Mast by Corey Moyne, great as well. I just prefer using Lumos. Sorry, Corey and Joe Crook. Okay, so that's how easy it is. We've literally just put in an asset. It's now, you can actually play with this. It has this cool lighting effect because we've used MatCat material. It's all there to play for. So how wild is that? We've basically downloaded some free assets and we've made something just out of thin air. In fact, another website that's worth checking out is another one called Mixamo. You can essentially animate characters for free. For free, people. This is all for free. I'm going to show you how easy this is. We're going to log in and we're going to upload a picture of a character. So I'm going to get a character from the interweb. I'm going to type in minimalist character. So let's get let's just get, I don't know, one of these people. Let's get this guy. Okay, so I'm going to screenshot him. I'm going to go to another thing called Hyperhuman. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to generate a character by uploading my picture of my guy. So, picture uploaded, generate. And it's going to prepare me a 3D version of that 2D image. Isn't that mental? Guys, this is mad. Okay, so this is generating. It'll be with us in a couple of minutes. What do we got? Okay, we've got a 3D person. He looks a little bit weird, but I'm going to go with it. Okay, so I'm going to click confirm. Is this symmetrical? Yes. And it's going to generate me a file. Now, what I'm then going to do is I'm going to upload that file to Mixamo. You're going to see how cool this is in just a second. I've got an OBJ file. I'm going to download this. You can do more things in Hyperhuman, but I'm not going to do that just now. And we've got a OBJ file that will be downloaded to my computer in just a second. Okay. Then what, Jack? Then you do this. Go to Mixamo. You get your character. And I'm going to drop in my guy. I think that's him. Let's have a look. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to choose the left hand, the right hand, etc., etc. So we can choose the character. Okay, cool. Your character is processing. Great. So, chin. We're going to put our chin here. Wrist. Knees. His knees look a little bit odd, but, you know, we're going to go with it. Elbows. I think those are his elbows. Okay, great. Next, auto rigging. So what this is going to do is it's basically going to make sure that when we click one of these different movements of our character, we'll be able to actually have something that moves realistically. Oh, please mark all the parts of the character. What's wrong? Is that better? Knees, groin. I think that's going to help. And we should have a guy that dances. Let's have a look. Oh no. If this doesn't work, we'll have to just put this down as a massive failure, I'm afraid. Might be because my character has his arms stuck together, i.e. they don't look like they're off the body. Okay, well, we've got this guy. Let's just try and see if he works instead. Yes, he does. Okay, so what I've done is I've uploaded a different minimalist character from the talk the other day, and you can see him doing a little bit of a dance around thing. Let's do an MMA kick for this command. Bosh! Bosh! So he's doing that. Nice. And then you can download that, and then you can actually put that as an embeddable as well in your file to create another scene. This was when I turned him into a little What dance is that? Samba, maybe? Anyway, he looks good, doesn't he? So, back to the talk. Basically, internet, 3D is not that hard. 3D is only becoming better and better, and I genuinely think it's worth learning. You've got these types of 3D experiences now that are, I guess you've got Apple Vision Pros, which everyone just thinks, why the hell would I wear those? But I think very soon we will be having a lot more 3D and immersive experiences for good or for bad. And I'm sure that's going to throw up a load of opportunity, and also it's going to be very detrimental for as we try and understand and explore the limits of what's possible and what's appropriate for civilization. It all sounds a bit airy-fairy here, or a little bit maybe a little bit extreme what I'm saying, but I do really think that it's worth at least understanding how 3D works. If you're interested in learning more, you're probably already watching this on YouTube, but you might have received the newsletter Spline Time. I share something every single week about how to do something in 3D. If you're interested in any of this stuff that I've talked about today, I will continue to explore this for months moving forward, maybe years moving forward. I've also got a blog. I've written a post called The 15 Best Spline Websites I've Seen, and it's well worth checking out, so go check that out. That's at jackredley.design. That is Jack, REDLEY.design. So cool website, go check it out. Well, I think it's cool. I mean, obviously I'm biased, aren't I? But go check it out if you're interested. Who's that guy? In learning anything more. Finally, if you're interested in actually getting a discount off Spline, Spline have generously given me a 30% discount code. If you pay yearly, you get a 20% discount code normally, but there's a 30% discount code if you use the code JackRedley30. Now, tools that are worth knowing about. Hyperhuman, that's the one we just looked at, where you can actually upload a 2D image, which will turn into a 3D image. Then we've got Mixamo, that's the Adobe one, which is used for character rigging. You can actually import that back into Spline and then do fun stuff inside Spline. There's Sketchfab, where we downloaded these 3D pineapple glasses. And there is Polycam, which is actually so cool. You can basically have 3D assets that you can generate yourself by using your phone and just scanning an object and then importing that as a 3D file. Insane. Hope that was interesting, guys, and that you learned a lot. I know that we went through a lot super fast there, but if you're interested, just at me at Twitter, at JackRedley1, or just send me a message on YouTube. I will be reading the comments. Hope that was helpful. Bye.